This is a video that showed up on my recommended yesterday. And it's like, if this is true, Blizzard has essentially been extremely duplicitous when it comes to what they're talking about Dragonflight. Because look at the claim this dude is making. Reputation is not account-wide in Dragonflight. Not only has it been said repeatedly that this is the case, it has also been repeated multiple times by several content creators that this is the case. So I want to hear this guy out, and I want to hear him explain why it is that he believes that reputation is not account-wide in Dragonflight. Let's see.
Welcome back to another video. So we're going to continue talking for a little bit today about some of the reputation and renown adjustments that have happened on the beta. Now, I did a video about this the other day and it got quite a bit of traction relative to what my videos usually do on the channel anyway. And a lot of people came forward with the ideas of why is this really a problem? Isn't renown and isn't reputation account wide in Dragonflight? And the truth be told is Blizzard have seemingly done a very good job of painting the picture that it is. The reality of the fact is, though, that reputation is not account-wide in Dragonflight. You have to be very, very careful how you define account-wide. Reputation is just flat-out not account-wide.
Okay, so here's the thing. It might not be account-wide. I understand why that can be confusing. But is it realm-wide? It's kind of like, you know how you have all your characters in one realm? Although, even still, it should just be account-wide. I kind of feel like Ian specifically said that it was going to be account-wide. Didn't he? Didn't Ian say that it was going to be account-wide at some point? Looney, last time I logged on beta, it was account-wide, so okay. So is the dude just wrong? Has to be faction-wide as well. So dude is just wrong then. I mean, go. I'm very curious, Looney, if you can check, like, especially if you can send me like screenshots. Like, send me a screenshot of your character list, and then like go into one character, show me the reputation on that character, and show me that it's the same thing on another one.
You have a character that you have leveled a certain quantity and then switch to another character, you have to re-level up to the point that you were. Now, of course, any cosmetics that you had unlocked on that main character and any faction-based features you had unlocked on that character will be instantly available to you on that alt.
So, Sareth is saying something different. The unlocks are account-wide, the renown level itself, no. See, I think that is not necessarily a good thing. Because, like, what if they add additional renown levels later down the line? Because, like, that's what they did with Shadowlands. They added additional renown levels. So, say, for instance, I start the expansion with one character, and I'm like, oh, I want to swap over, which is not going to happen with me. Like, let's say I start and I play the expansion with my warrior, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to play my paladin. So my warrior is grinded all of this fucking renown, and they add new levels to it, and now I'm playing my paladin, and it's like, yeah, I have the rewards on the warrior, but the paladin is basically going to get screwed if I'm supposed to have to log back in and re-grind everything to get to the new levels. According to Sareth, each character has its own renown level, but if you unlock something with one character, you unlock it with all of them. If you swap characters, you have to grind the renown again. That is not what most people are saying. Am I wrong? That is not what most people are saying. I get a distinct feeling that I've heard multiple people, including developers, saying that renown is account-wide. That is some seriously shady shit.
That doesn't change the fact that you are still going to have to level up that reputation again. A good example of this, let's say you play a mage. You're playing through the beginning of the expansion as a mage, you're leveling up, you're considering your mage as a main character, everything's going gravy. You get to the raid and your raid leader turns around and goes, you know what, for some reason we could really do with a boomkin. I remember you had that druid ult, do you mind jumping over and playing on your druid for this patch? You're like, yeah, no problem. Blizzard said account-wide reputations, no issues there. You log on to your boomkin to only find out that all of that renown that you'd gained, all of that progress you had made on your main character is not represented on your alt. If you want to go from renown 5 to renown 6, you have to first grind out the first 5 renown again on your alt character. It's not alt friendly. It's really not in any way, shape or form. And that's a big concern. I wanted to highlight this post that you'll be able to see over here. This came out.
It's like, I'm telling you, up until this point, Looney, okay, it changed. Interesting. Good job. Renown has no power behind it. It's just cosmetic. No. But it's like, that's not the point. The point is that they said that it was going to be account wide. Not just them, but like most content creators have been saying that Renown is going to be account wide. Like yesterday was the first time that I've ever heard anyone say that it wasn't going to be. And it was this dude's video title. Like that is fuck, dude, come on. Like what the fuck? Not only Renown, but even like previous shit that you've done. Like I have Ironforge on Exalted on my warrior. If I make another character, I should have Ironforge on Exalted. Like that's messed up. That's just straight up messed up.
A few hours ago, and was meant to, at least in somewhat, address the situation regarding these reputation and renown adjustments. For clarity, the thing that they did is they stealth nerfed, and I want to point out here, this was a stealth nerf. It took people to actually find this out for themselves on the beta. This was not indicated in any patch notes. They changed the amount of reputation required to go from one renown to another, from 1,000 all the way up to 2,500. Not just a tweak, not just an adjustment. 1,000 to 1,200 might have been an adjustment. No. This is a massive rebalancing of the entire reputation system in Dragonflight in a very, very detrimental way. Their claiming was that it became harder to reward amounts of reputation that felt meaningful. So that meant that they needed a 250% increase. Something doesn't add up there, Blizzard. I can do maths, and that maths smells funny. Let's look at some of the breakdown of where these changes occurred, though. So some previously weekly world quests have now become dailies, while the frequency of some others were increased to twice per week. We don't want more dailies, Blizzard. I think I can quite safely speak for the community here when I say we don't want more dailies. Dailies have this massive...
This reeks of them saying, we want you to stay online for longer. It's like, when will they understand? And again, I'm going to give a Final Fantasy XIV example. Like, if I go and I choose to go do the dailies of a beast tribe, which is like some of the only dailies that you can actually do. For starters, there's a limit. You can only do like 12 beast tribe quests a day. This is for them to prevent for you to just like going no life on beast tribes when there's a lot of other things that you could be doing. And it's like, I can literally do the dailies for like any of the beast tribes, all the dailies of that specific beast tribe in like 5 minutes. And 5 minutes is me just like not even paying that much attention. It's me just like actually, because if you actually like are trying to speed run them and being efficient, you could probably do it in a lot shorter time. Because like it's 3 quests. It's 3 quests. Boom, 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 boom. And it's like, you don't need to add more quests, more daily quests for players to do. This is not necessarily what people want. Is this their concept of world content? Oh yeah, we have a team that's doing world content. Okay, what's that team doing? More world quests. Okay. Okay, now there is the issue that his take is because there's a lot of people who have said they want more daily content in the world. Really? It's like more daily content in the world to me does not mean like, oh yeah, let's just, the quest, just put more quests that are the exact same thing you're already doing. I feel like people want more variety.
Negative connotation around them. They're really FOMO inducing, and it's quite clear and it's quite obvious to most players out there nowadays that dailies are aggressively used to push this routine of logging in and doing something day in, day out in World of Warcraft. It's not something we want, and Blizzard knows this, and this is the frustration for me. Blizzard knows this, and in many cases Blizzard has implemented systems to alleviate this pressure from players. Let me clarify what I mean when I say FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. The first word there is fear. Fear is not necessarily a rational thing. This is why when you throw logic at it, it doesn't matter. The argument of throwing logic of that, oh, well, you don't have to do these daily activities, that's not a valid argument, because fear is not a rational emotion in the first place. The fear of missing out is a psychological thing to where you feel, well, by the nature, you feel as if you're missing out on something. It doesn't matter if you are or if you're not. The fact that Blizzard is using it as a very psychological ploy to grab people and make sure that they get embedded in this routine of logging in daily is not something that players want in this game. And players generally, I feel, have pushed back against this quite heavily in the last few expansions. And in some scenarios, we'd seen Blizzard doing the right thing. I'll give you an example, a positive example of how Blizzard have made some subtle changes to this to reduce that sort of FOMO sort of aspect of it. Tailoring has, I think it's 2 daily cooldowns in Dragonflight. 2 daily cooldowns for Azerweave and Chronocloth bolts, I think they are. I can't remember the exact names, but a daily cooldown nonetheless. To alleviate this necessity and this need to log in and press a button or to do an activity once a day, they've implemented a charge system. You can only craft 10 of these Chronocloth bolts in a week, but you accumulate charges. So if it's 3 or 4 days between you logging in, you can log in and you can then craft 3 or 4 bolts in one go, and you can keep
That's really
up,
good.
and you don't ever feel as if you're missing out. You're keeping up with what the pacing of the game is without the necessity to log in daily. To summarize very quickly, I really don't think we need more dailies in the game, Blizzard. I would much prefer slightly longer, more engaging quests that lean on the emphasis of weekly things. Something that people can progress through and work towards on a weekly basis. Now, of course, if it gets to day 6 and you've not started it, well, that's a big fat you problem. If you are one of those players that tries to grind out all of this in one go, then you kind of made that decision yourself. It's not necessarily a perfect way to do it, but I think most people agree that having weekly quests that you can chip away at throughout the week are much more engaging, far more fun to deal with, and you're more likely to just enjoy the process of doing it, which it's a video game, that's kind of how you should feel, right? Anyway, their next point. We've lowered the renown level requirements of certain activities such as climbing quests, cataloguing quests, and the Siege of Dragonbane so that players hit the unlock sooner. Now, I understand only a selection of you guys out there will have access to the beta. For those who do not have access to the beta and are trying to learn what's going on vicariously through content creators such as myself, the climbing quests and the catalogue quests are 2 unlocks from one of the major factions in Dragonflight. But the reality is, it's just more world quests. They're mini, really small little mini games. The cataloging is where you practically float down the river on a raft and you take photos of things. It's quite a fun little world quest. It's a fun little mini game. But it is still just that. It's a mini game. It's not something that you're going to log in and, beeline straight towards. You're not waiting to, you're not actively seeking out these quests. It's another world quest, and the reality is they're just making it so that you'll unlock these extra world quests that little bit quicker. That doesn't do anything.
It's probably because of the fact that, it's going to take you longer to get those renown levels, so they're making these things available to you earlier.
To alleviate the fact that you've jacked up the reputation requirements so aggressively. The next point, this was one that was a very common...
I think an important data to have, and maybe some of you guys in chat that have access to the beta can give me this. How much reputation do you gain per quest? Like, how many quests is 1,000 rep? How many quests is that? 5, 10, 50? I think that is one of the important things that we need to know. And if somebody knows that, let me know in chat.
An argument by people in the comments on these threads. I'll leave you guys to read the comments on this for yourself. But the level up quests have been adjusted so that players are reaching max level with most of the activities unlocked. Very clever use of terminology here. They've called them level up quests. I would much prefer to call them one-time quests, because they are just that. When you are leveling, not the main storyline, not the main campaign, not the MSQ, whatever terminology you want to use for it, but all of the side optional quests through leveling, their reputation rewards were never great. You could complete them, but it was kind of meh, all the same. They have increased those, to give Blizzard some credit. They have, yes, increased the reputation gains from that, meaning if you do engage in those side quest activities as you're leveling your character up, you will see more reputation for it. But there's one key thing to note here. They're one-time quests. These are quests that you can only ever complete once, and sure, even if you do every single quest on your journey to 70, you still may only land at, let's say, Renown 6 or Renown 7. There's 25 to 30 Renowns that you need to collect, each of which now take 2,500 reputation to acquire. This is really good, maybe, for that initial boost. It's top-heavy gains, right? It's very top-heavy gains. You're going to get a big spike of reputation very quickly. But when you have burnt through all of your one-time resources for this, the grind is still going to kick in aggressively, really aggressively. If you want to be leveling up and accessing some of the end features and functionalities of these major...
The word needed is very strong. They're not needed. Yeah, they're not needed, but it's like when you're playing an MMO, you want to have goals. And when you have those goals, you want those goals to be achievable. And I think that Blizzard is still under the impression that players will just go ahead and be like, oh, my goal is doing this. Oh my God, this is going to take a long time. I better get started working on doing this. Where I feel like where MMOs are at this point, at least for me, is more like, oh, is this going to take like way longer than I kind of feel like investing? Guess I'm not doing it then. Like a lot of times if I'm in an MMO, and this even includes 14. So like, for instance, I've been grinding Eureka to get crystals, to get the relic from Eureka. And it's been the one that's taken me the longest. Why? Because like, oh, you need 100 crystals or something like that. Okay? How many crystals can I get from each of the fates that pop up? And fates are not, you have to go grind mobs in order for the fates to pop up, whatever. It's about 10. You get 10 crystals if you get like the maximum reward level for that encounter. And I'm like, okay. 10, need to do 10 fates. In between each fate, also got to go grind mobs in order to spawn the fate. And I'm just like, it's gonna take too long. I'm gonna go do something else. Like that's usually the way that it goes, because I yoink away in my farming. That's why it's not always like that. It's not always like that. 10 crystals only from OVNI. Usually it's 3 to 7 in most other ones. Okay, so it's even less. But that's the point, right? I see it and I'm like, the goal is too far away, and people are gonna say, oh, you're just lazy. I'm not like, bro. If you see me play Monster Hunter, you know that I'm not lazy. The thing is, how engaging is the activity that I'm doing, right? And therein lies the problem. Like, if it's an engaging thing, if it's something that I can see engaging myself in, then it's like, okay, so the thing is far away, but the thing that I'm doing is fun. The problem is, world quests, they're fun like once, maybe twice, maybe even 10 times, depending on the type of person that you are. But like, when I'm doing the same quest, like the 30th time, it's not fun anymore. And that's when I start looking at it and I'm like, whoa, this is really far away. This is becoming a problem. Am I getting messages in here? Like, what the fuck? I'm listening to sounds. That's on my end. That's BattleNet on my end. Anyway.
Factions, you're in for quite a journey, and it's going to be a long, painful one for some. Finally, they've indicated that the weekly rapid quest has been...
Mythic Plus are giving Renown on completion? This is not a problem then. Never mind. None of this is a problem. Wait. Oh, if they did. Oh, never mind. So they don't. Okay, never mind. Okay, fuck. Okay, this is a big problem. Never mind. Look, Avatar Blade. I just read what you said and I was like, ooh, they give Renown on completion. See, but that's something that they used to do. You guys remember when, I think it was this Cataclysm when they started doing it? You guys remember when we'd be able to like equip a tab art and then that tab art would give you reputation for that faction? That was great. That was fucking great. They still do that? They don't do that in like Shadowlands as far as I'm aware. It was Wrath? Okay, Wrath. Wait. But you can't, wait, but can you grind the Shadowlands factions? Because I'm pretty sure you couldn't. I'm very confused. I'm very confused. I'm pretty sure you weren't doing that. Then again, it's been a while since I've played World of Warcraft, all right?
Been changed, will change slightly each week. A lot of people have been confused by the terminology, the weekly wrapper. If you've been playing in patch 9.2, this is your patterns quest, right? It's what many actually consider like the meta quest, the big quest related to that patch of content that you chip away at. It's a fill the bar quest in most cases, but you chip away at it, and there's usually a quite lucrative reward at the end of it. A big chunk of gold, the opportunity for some gear, and in many cases it comes with a nice substantial amount of reputation at the same time. The weekly rapid quest has been changed, the reputation requirement has gone up, but the overall increased reputation gain should result in a lower completion time for most players. This is bonkers. This is this just isn't true. This just isn't true. It was 2,000 reputation that was required initially, and it's been rebalanced to 3,000 on some weeks, 4,000 on others. The reality of the fact is you still are just going to have to be grinding out multiple. But it's a fill the bar for reputation. So if you've used up all of your one-time quests, you are going to be completing this primarily through completing yet more world quests. The emphasis
is like, why can't they not? Why are you like this? Please. Fucking hell, dude. What are we doing? This is like your one chance. Get it together. Like, what the fuck? Jesus Christ.
On completing world quests to gain your reputation is bananas in Dragonflight. If you're not a fan of world quests, I hate to give you the bad news here, but Dragonflight is going to be very top heavy when you hit level 70 in terms of world questing. Sure, for a week or two, it'll feel really new and really fresh. But once you're 3, 4, 5 weeks into it and you're repeating the same world quests day in, day out with no real other substantial ways of gaining reputation, I think you'll start to agree with my viewpoint on this. And the final thing that really frustrated me more than anything else was the fact that Blizzard are really going out of their way to make it practically impossible for people to test and validate any of these changes. This will not change the renown of existing test characters, so players who wish to test this will want to create a new test character. Okay, so Blizzard, you're telling me that instead of giving me the ability to create a level 70 character to test out these changes effectively, I'm going to have to create a new level 60 character, spend another 8 to 12 hours of my time leveling that character up to 70 just to validate the information you've given me here. It's really not fair.
Bro. Bro. What the fuck? Oh my god. What do you mean it doesn't take 8 to 12 hours? If he's leveling a character from 60 to 70, it better take 8 to 12 hours. Like, what the fuck is the leveling like in this? Is it going to be like 3-hour leveling speed run?
On the people who are trying to test this content and are trying to put forward some, in many cases, I try to make sure that my critique is at least constructive in some way. Yeah, I was not best impressed with this little blue post, as you can probably tell. I don't want this to come across too much as if it's too ranty, but the reality of the fact is that they have dramatically hiked up the grind at the end of Dragonflight. There's no questions about it. And as a player that really, really likes to focus on leveling characters, playing with the professions, unlocking the patterns and the recipes for my professions, this is going to have a big impact on the way that I play the game. And unfortunately, dare I say it, is I think this will have an impact on a lot more players than players realize. Professions, crafting is taking center stage in Dragonflight. It's going to be far more something that people care about. They've had a complete profession revamp. Much of the crafted gear is now locked deep in the...
You guys want to know what my professions are going to be? Mining and skinning. Really good professions. Let's fucking go. That's my two professions, mining and skinning.
These renowned trees. You often have to get 15, 16, 17, 19 renowned deep with these factions before you unlock some of these patterns. And players are going to want those bits of crafted gear. They're either going to want the unlocks to improve their own professions, the tools, the gear that comes with the professions. They're going to want the gear. They're going to want the trinkets. They're going to want the weapons that are unlocked throughout these paths. Professions are going to play a big part, and people are going to care about this. The problem is, as I feel right now, is it's going a little bit under the radar for the very simple reason that people are conditioned to not care about professions. Professions is just that thing that those weird goblins do, right?
Yes.
So yeah, let's hope that Blizzard can, look at this in a little bit more detail and maybe understand that this level of increase is not just a tuning here. This is a serious...
And it's like, I don't think this would be a problem if the Renown was in fact account-wide, like is the current community perception. Like, I kind of feel like that is the current community perception of World of Warcraft. Isn't that the current community perception, that the Renown is account-wide? I'm pretty sure it is. As a matter of fact, I have another video that I'm going to be reacting to in a bit from Bellular, and I'm pretty sure that in that video, he's probably going to make that point. It'll be interesting if that happens.
Extension to the amount of time it's going to take people to level, and I would really hope they reconsider their opinion on it. Let me know in the comments down below, boys and girls, what your thoughts are on this. I would fully understand whether you both agree or disagree with me on this. A lot of these topics are there's a lot of friction between these. There's a lot of people with different opinions, so I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it. If you're new around here, I do appreciate there's a lot of new people to the channel as it stands at the moment. We've had a big influx of subscribers, so welcome to everybody that's new. Hope you're enjoying the content around here, and I do pledge to you guys that it won't necessarily be all slightly more negative stuff such as this. But I did feel that I had to talk about this.
I'll do all of the negative things. Don't worry about it. I'll be the one that gets the anger of all the WoW Andies. It's fine. I'm used to it.
At least in a little bit of detail to get some public feedback, I suppose. But welcome in. Thank you for subscribing, and of course, like the video if you haven't already. I've been Manthieus, boys and girls. I'll leave you there for today. Enjoy the rest of your day. If you've got beta to access to beta, jump on, have a little bit of a look at this, and draw your own conclusions. But I'll leave it there. I've been Manthieus. I'll catch you all next time, boys and girls. Peace.
Okay, so be sure to check out the video. Leave it a like. Give it some watch time, like I always say. Leave it playing in the background if you can, or go after and watch the video or something. But don't just go in there, like, and leave, because that's bad for the algorithm. But anyway, like, I think it is a kind of like a problem when they're, at least and again, because this is going to go on YouTube, let me know in the comments if your public perception is also that the Renown system was going to be account wide, because it was my perception, and I would imagine that is probably the perception of most people here on chat. But yeah, according to Looney, who has access to the beta, he says it's not ready to come out. Game's not ready. Trust me from playing beta, it's not ready. You can go to any top player, they'll tell you the same. It's like I've heard also from Limit Max, he was saying that balance-wise it doesn't feel ready. But it's like it's going to be what it's going to be. We're going to see when the game comes out, whether it's ready or not. Ready or not, here I come. In the worst ways imaginable.